What if the most powerful move you could ever make required no announcement and no audience? You simply stop showing up where your spirit no longer feels at home. No final speech, no dramatic exit, just a quiet decision that changes everything. The Stoics understood something most of us forget. True strength isn't measured by how loudly you protest, but by how silently you walk away from what no longer serves you. This is your guide to 15 things you must quietly release, not with anger, not with chaos, but with clarity and purpose. Real power moves in silence, not in conflict. But before we explore what you must eliminate, ask yourself, what have you been carrying that was never yours to hold? Haven't you felt the weight of pretending long enough? You've worn a mask so long you've forgotten it's not your face. The version that nods when it wants to shake its head, that laughs when nothing feels funny. Every fake smile costs you energy. Every suppressed truth drains your spirit. Epictetus said if you wish to improve, you must be willing to appear foolish. The heaviest burden is a face that isn't yours. What if being disliked for who you truly are is better than being loved for who you're not? When you drop the mask, you might lose some people, but were they ever really yours? I'll do it tomorrow. Those 4 words have stolen more dreams than failure ever could. You tell yourself you're waiting for the right moment, but days become weeks, weeks become years. Seneca wrote that while we postpone, life speeds by. How many of your dreams have you buried under the excuse of timing? You don't need all the answers, you just need to begin. One imperfect step, one messy attempt. Start before you're ready. You'll never be ready enough. The past has a strange way of feeling more present than the present itself. A mistake from years ago still stings. A conversation long ended still echoes. Are you remembering your past, or are you reliving it? There's a crucial difference between learning from experience and being trapped by it. Carl Jung said we are not what happened to us. We are what we choose to become. Honor your past without being chained to it. Healing doesn't mean forgetting. It means choosing freedom. There's a particular silence that follows emotional begging. After you've poured yourself out trying to be enough for someone who was never going to meet you halfway. Have you ever given everything to someone who gave almost nothing back? Love that needs to be begged for isn't love. It's approval wearing a mask. You weren't made to live in a constant exam of your worth. You were made to be met fully, freely, with respect. Love that requires begging was never love at all. You're not a fortune teller, yet you live as if you are. Forecasting disaster after disaster, rehearsing pain that may never come. Is worry really preparation, or is it just suffering in advance? Most of what you fear never becomes real. And even when it does, it never plays out the way you pictured. Marcus Aurelius wrote that he escaped anxiety not by running from it, but by discarding it. Worry is not prophecy, it's just noise. Holding on to resentment feels like control, but the only thing it builds is a prison, and you're the one locked inside. Who is really suffering when you refuse to forgive? Forgiveness isn't about them, it's about you. It's about not carrying someone else's actions into your next chapter. The real power isn't in staying angry, it's in choosing peace. Not because they earned it, but because you're tired of bleeding for someone else's mistake. Forgiveness isn't for them, it's for your freedom. We've been told happiness lies somewhere out there. In the next job, the next relationship, the next achievement. Have you ever reached a goal and found the happiness you expected wasn't there? The finish line keeps moving. Every time you get close, it shifts. Happiness isn't the finish line. It's the way you walk. It shows up in small moments, sunlight on your face, a quiet conversation, a breath of fresh air. Joy isn't earned, it's noticed. You don't owe the world a constant justification for who you are, why you stayed, why you left, why you changed. Why do we feel the need to justify our existence to everyone who questions it? Silence is not weakness, it's a boundary, a calm confidence that doesn't need to prove itself. Marcus Aurelius said, "Stop arguing about what a good person should be. Just be one. Stop explaining. Start living." Most people think energy is lost in big, dramatic ways, but it's usually drained in silence. The late-night scrolling, the automatic yes, the skipped meal. What small habit is slowly stealing your vitality? You don't need a complete life overhaul. You need one small act of reclaiming your energy. Energy isn't just about sleep. It's about what you tolerate, what you consume, what you allow into your space. There's a voice inside your head that tells you you're not enough, that you're behind, that everyone else has it together. Where did you learn to speak to yourself like this? That voice isn't truth. It's habit. And it's keeping you stuck. You don't shame a flower into blooming. You don't yell at a wound to heal faster. Compassion isn't weakness. It's fuel for everything you're becoming. Your inner voice matters more than any outer noise. The need to be right often costs you far more than proving a point. It costs your time, your calm, your relationships. What's more important, being right or being at peace? Being wrong doesn't make you less. It makes you human. Carl Jung said everything that irritates us about others can lead us to understand ourselves. Choose peace over pride. You open your phone, and in seconds you're flooded with curated snapshots of perfect lives, and suddenly your peace evaporates. What if you're not behind? What if you're just on a different path? Social media doesn't show the breakdowns, the sleepless nights, the sacrifices. You're comparing your behind the scenes to their edited preview. Stop scrolling to measure yourself. Scroll to learn. But don't scroll to assess your worth. You learn to say yes before even thinking, not because you wanted to, but because you started believing your value came from being needed. When did you stop being a person and start being a resource? Saying no is not rude, it's clear. It's a complete sentence. You don't owe anyone a spreadsheet of your energy levels. Your worth was never about how useful you are to others. There's a quiet discomfort when you start to feel like a stranger inside the identity you've been wearing for years. The loud one, the reliable one, the ambitious one. What if you're not lost? What if you're just no longer limited? Outgrowing a version of yourself can be more painful than leaving a person. But you don't owe the world a consistent performance. You're allowed to change, to soften, to slow down, to speak up. You're allowed to grow out of places and people and mindsets. Starting over doesn't mean you failed. It means you were brave enough to admit something wasn't right. If where you've come to doesn't feel right, why keep going? Seneca said every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. You're not going back to square one. You're returning to yourself, but this time with experience. Let the old version of you rest. You're not lost, you're simply becoming. Starting over isn't failure, it's evolution. You are not meant to shrink yourself to fit into a life that no longer fits. You were meant to expand, to evolve, to rise. And sometimes the only way to do that is to start again. Even if your hands are shaking, even if no one understands, begin anyway. This is not the end. It's the invitation to become everything you were too afraid to be before. If this resonated with you, Please like this video and subscribe to Mind Forge. We grow silently but powerfully together.